Some of that new.
That never give up.
So I bought some grip tools.
You bought some what?
Some grip tools.
For what? What's the thinking behind that?
Grip. Strengthening my grip.
Yeah. How long have you been?
My forearm.
How long have you been using it?
For about like 37 years now.
You just had to get a new one.
I could open like those other type of jars, those bean jars.
Nothing. Just touch it.
Fucking Popeye. Just
Catch all the beans. Nice. Let me see it.
This one's cool because you can adjust it.
So how strong you want it?
Yeah. So it's like kind of 0 to.
Where do you have it?
120. I don't know that. Like that middle reading is kind of just like your guess.
Does it say right here?
No, that's it counts to 199.
199.
Or 99.
Oh, like it, as much as you do it.
Yeah, so you gotta click it, and that's when it like counts.
Like it actually holds you accountable.
Yeah. You gotta hear it, it doesn't count.
Okay, nice. And aside from obviously strengthening like those small muscles, does it do anything else for you, or do you? Because you be typing a lot. So, how much have you done so far?
Well, I've had it for, I would say maybe like a week now.
A week. Nice.
And I got the other, it was this pack thing.
It came in a pack.
A pack deal, yeah.
Yeah.
It has this like rubber donut. It's pretty like just
like strong,
like bouncy, like rubbery. It's pretty cool. And
cool.
like this egg kind of deal.
Yeah.
That one's kind of weird to like kind of squeeze.
It's kind of squeeze.
And it has like this spreader apart to it. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool, man. So are you using that at work? Are you just where's your like main?
When I'm driving.
Oh, this guy when he's driving. All right, I didn't expect
I use
that.
one hand just. You know what? Yeah, let me use my knees.
Click, click, click. Just driving like, you don't even know what I'm doing in here. Get muscles while I drive. That's the most ass shit to do right there.
Like, don't let me open up your handle.
Yeah, I know. Like, don't knock on that window. It's not coming down. I can just imagine you said like, click, click, click. Yeah. That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious.
Nah, it's just for patience, It's just like happy place.
I'm not gonna ram this person from Texas.
Happy place. Happy place.
I'm not gonna ram this old lady that shouldn't be driving right now.
You see that hand? You know what that red hand means?
Yeah.
Yellow hand means?
I'm just gonna get through it. No, that's funny. No, that's what's up. So how is the real quick. So everybody, whoever's gonna watch this or whoever's here, welcome to the Higher Thoughtcast with myself. And today, Jose was gentleman enough to join me, and I appreciate that. How you doing, Jose?
Hello, everybody. Pretty well. How are you, Jesus?
Not too bad, man. I'm actually today. I'm feeling good. As tired as I am, and as regular stuff we got to deal. I'm actually like in a good little solid spot for the most part. And then real quick before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys heard the beginning and you heard some music, that was Never Give Up by Mount Intellect Records' own Gatzinsila. Please go run those streams up. It's available on all platforms. Original track by Gatzinsila, Never Give Up. More videos to come, ladies and gentlemen, as far as live mixes out there in different environments. So we're coming more with that. So go stream that. Go follow him. Go show him some love. But yeah, so like I was saying earlier, Jose, and that's why I wanted to get you in here, and it just happened to work that some of the teammates had to do some stuff, so it kind of worked out. Because I was telling you earlier, I don't think we've talked a little bit. I think we talked last time when we ended up just chilling here with Osvaldo. But how you doing, man? How?
Yeah,
like we haven't really like just sat down, like kick a little bit. You know what I mean? Is it high enough?
Yeah, it's just because it like dropped down.
It dropped down nowhere?
Yeah.
Is it back good? Because the low handle should either be on your left. But yeah, so how you doing, man? How's everything? How are you been mentally? Like you good?
Yeah, I've been well.
Doing well?
I think it's been going just regularly, I guess. Normal. I've gone through. I worked with the trainings.
Yeah. You've been in mad trainings, right?
I had the past 2 weeks. I've done 2 trainings.
2 trainings?
Yeah, at the end of the month and at the beginning of the month.
How do you see those? Is that kind of something easy for you at this point, since you're so experienced in what you do?
I think it's not necessarily easy, but I think they're like smooth, like breeze kind of days.
Okay.
It
kind of helps just regulate the day a little more smoother for you.
Yeah, like on that day you just get to kind of just lay back instead of just as well just listen around and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I've done the homework once as well, so I think that's also just kind of
kept you busy a little bit.
Yeah, and I think those are just even more relaxed.
Yeah.
Just respond to somebody and write your stuff. And
you don't have to listen to somebody exclusively.
Turn this worksheet in and take this quiz.
Got you.
So
I could do that.
Good.
So at this point, you know, are you learning anything new? Is there anything insightful in these trainings for you?
These last ones have surprisingly been about actually just doing therapy.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like actually
so
like
maybe
going through that stuff.
Maybe it's insightful because, you know.
So it's on the it's on that new part, the refreshing part, because it's the ones I just glanced over.
Like,
okay,
nah.
let me get to this part.
That's not for me.
Yeah, let me see like what questions to ask.
So it's been a little bit insightful for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And how's the fam? How's everybody? Everybody healthy? Everybody good? For the most part?
Everybody's good. Healthy, good.
Good. Working busy as always. That's always good. That's always good.
Kids are growing, good.
How you feel about that? Because I mean, obviously they're not directly your kids, but they're your nephews and nieces. How is that for you? Obviously, at some point you'll have your own, but how is it just from kind of this backseat perspective to watch these kids grow up? Is it interesting? Is it sometimes catches you off guard how fast time passes?
The time for sure, yeah.
Okay.
The oldest nephew is 13. He'll be 14 at the end of the year, December.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, they grow up fast. They go quickly.
It's quickly, right?
I guess like going through 6 of them, I guess they're all at some kind of even space. Everybody's maybe 2-3 years just under each other.
Yeah. And
so that one is just like every single stage.
Oh, okay. So you've seen everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Which one would be the one that you kind of went, like what stage have you observed that you're like, oof? That
for
one.
all of them?
Yeah, for any of the ages that you just named. You've seen every stage, basically.
I think it's maybe the 3 age or so, or 2.
Like 3 years old.
Like 2.5, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a lot like, if things are not necessarily going their way, they just get really upset.
And just start
like
shouting.
Like if you have a plate and you're like carrying it to the table, but they like at the last second said, "I want to carry it," then you drop it down. Meltdown.
Meltdown. It's over.
Like, man,
we gotta go home.
Like, dude, like we're a step away. Like, come on. Like I don't know what's going on through that age. It's just like that possession age where you're getting like that autonomy where, like kind of I can carry something and I can do things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like that consciousness time, but it's just that exploring time and you want to do everything. And you're walking down the stairs and jumping down and stuff. Yeah, like that little tiny age.
Mírame.
Like it's pretty cool that what's going on there that time, that learning.
Yeah.
But oh man, dude, like they're having a meltdown for the wrong plate, for the wrong fork, something.
Just like no quise esto.
Yeah, I was like, man, dude,
¿Qué es esto? So, because that's interesting. Because as I've watched my brother grow up, he's about 13 now, 14 might be off, who knows? But he's around that age, and I've watched the different stages. Because I remember around 2 and 3, he was an angry little mother. Like this dude, I was like, "Why are you so angry, bro?" Like, and it changed, but I remember just being angry. But it was that same way you were explaining. Like if he didn't get his way, he sometimes I would tell him he has dictator face. Like take over a country with that face. Walking around with this little chubby face. You know what I mean? Shout out to Camilo. Good that you passed that exam, man. Appreciate you.
Come on down then.
What you doing, man?
There's an open seat right here.
There you go. You got the invite. Shout out to Camilo. But if you could, like, if you can go back to when you were that age, would you just observe? Would you change? Would you throw something in there just to, now that you're kind of seeing it, how it's kind of working in that process throughout these different humans? Right. If you can go back to the time when you were that age and maybe, change it. Remember or be able to watch.
Have some more consciousness?
No. Be able to affect that moment. Either you push yourself to be more interactive, more curious, more like just kind of going for around that age, or be less, or try to put yourself in a different environment, because you would just not just be watching, you would be in the moment. If you wanted to affect the moment, you could, to just kind of change how you learned or how you grew up. Would you, at any age, not even that one?
Yeah, I guess if I could influence myself.
Yeah, like what would be the age, and what would you influence?
To learn something, be on the path. I mean, I would do that at any age. Dude.
Any age?
Every age, every year. Dude.
Just go back a year.
I'll be right behind you. Just to go this way,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that age where it's kind of important of what happens. What would you do? Like, let's say at 10 years old, what would you change if you think about when you were 10? Because, for example,
I don't know.
when I think about that thought, it'd be cool just to go back and force myself to just learn any other language besides English and Spanish. Right, just to force myself to sit down, learn this language, whatever the process is to learn. Just it'd be cool just to get that out the way early, to just have that established, just how we have Spanish and English. Like it's just we don't even think about it. It's just there if we wanted to, because we're bilingual, right?
That's true.
But have like just drill either one more language in there somewhere.
Mandarin.
Yeah, anything. Shoot, Japanese, Chinese, any. I mean, even like French or something like that. Right? Or I would go back and redo since now how I understand what mathematics is, right? I'm a little better. Go back and try to teach myself from that perspective, because
nursery rhymes, be like that back.
no,
Okay.
no, not that backwards.
Okay.
No, that'd be funny though.
Dude,
Wait,
subconscious learning, dude.
That's true. You're not wrong. You know, while I'm sleeping, slobbering all over myself.
Yeah. Like well sounds? Not here, buddy. Not in this house, sir.
All math.
All mathematics, my sir. And we start off with calculus.
Woo! Damn, you started hard. I'm gonna have a nightmare now. I'll be like, what is going on today? Oh, that'd be funny. But you're right. Could do it that way. But because for math, for me, I feel if they would have kind of told me just like the more wider view of it, I would have been more enticing to embrace it.
Yeah.
And to keep me like actually wanting to learn, because the way I understand math is how math has to do everything with the universe and all these different functions, and how powerful math is if you understand it well enough, right? And the power of putting different things together. If they would have started like that, I would have been, okay, let's go. Like they would entice me to, because it was hard for me, but I think if I would have knew that beforehand or understood that curiousness of it, I would have tried a little harder to make sure I was good at math. That's one subject that since I was young, I'm a little better now. Because I told you, I've tried to learn now from a different perspective, the way the school or teachers couldn't. But if they would have told me at the end, like, this has to do with the universe, this blah, 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 how I understand it now, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, okay, let's learn math. But they never, I don't know, they never give you that background.
The applications of it?
Yeah, they never give you that background, or they never kind of build it up. Because I think math is very cool now. I think math is this exciting thing that if you could truly understand it, you could truly unlock the universe. You know what I mean? And if they would have just told me that, let's unlock the universe. What's up? And I when I gave dub so fast, or for me personally, if they would have done that for me early on, it would have been easier for me to learn things. Because I'm like, oh, okay. Not just tell me that this number has to be this and blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? So stuff like that, when I think of...
Like more context?
Yeah, just give me a little more context.
History on it.
Like, excite me. You know what I mean? I'm a child.
Yeah, like why is it called the Pythagorean theorem?
Exactly. Don't present it in the most dull way that you can think of, where you're going to lose me 3 seconds in. And as soon as I see a Y and an X, I'm like, I'm out. That's not a number. Yeah. That's not a number.
Letters? Yeah. What do you mean imaginary?
I'm like, wait, this holds a value of what? And What do you mean? It's a 0? It's a 1? What?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but imagine if they would have told me in this kind of more enticing way. I just think those hard subjects for me were presented in the most dull way. Come on, excite me a little bit. Even like with the science, like give me a little something more. You know, something to look forward to. Something that actually exist. Like if they would just, you know, it wasn't presented so dull, I would have probably been better. And I wouldn't have struggled as much as I did in just math. So stuff like that, like when you think about that and how you are now and how you can completely see the full 360 or whatever version you are now, is there anything like that you will go back and change?
I think the same language, like during more younger years, just so you could just grasp it quicker, start working it quicker, have no embarrassment about it, I guess. And then
for sure,
on the more like teenage years, like I said, more into the math and stuff.
Yeah,
I was pretty okay with math. I was pretty good at it and stuff. It wasn't like the worst subject. I think the worst subject I had during that time was writing.
Really?
Yeah, like science was interesting and all that stuff as well. And then I think towards the end of high school, stuff like that, adolescence, made me start more into like computer science. Actual just like working into it, because that's something that I've been interested in, but I've never really worked into it and stuff.
And just kind of get through like the hard parts of understanding that subject, right? Because computer science is a complicated.
Yeah, because I mean it's math,
it's a lot of math.
And so if I was already interested in math, just kind of understand that math is more into that stuff. Yeah, and that's where it's gonna follow into, and then just continue with everything else in the computer. Just if it's gonna be, because I had a one internet coding class. I remember.
What grade?
In class.
I
think it was like 10th grade. Yeah.
Oh, that's tight. I wish I would have.
I had one. It was like an intro. We made our own website. Like full like domain and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Dude, back then you didn't have to like pay for anything online. There's a whole bunch of just like made up websites for nothing. A bunch of like .com places just like with nothing, dumbass things.
That's why they like to say the .com area, because there's a lot of that going on when it first started.
Yeah, so it was just like he made us build the page. We advertised some stuff on it.
Yeah,
we inputted some pictures. We made some links to it, into it. So it was pretty deep. So it was like the very initial functions of it. This is where you log in, and your links take you to this other like appropriate place.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. And then we did a little bit of photo editing as well.
Damn, that's one thing I do regret not getting into high school. Like all the photography options that I had, I just for some reason didn't end up there.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like that would have been a cool ass thing. Working into that.
For sure.
Maybe not so much the video, because I remember in high school we did have this video, like video news, and then the professor, he was like pretty cool on it.
Yeah.
But it was just for videos. There was not necessarily for pictures. And then that online class, I think after that semester or that year, it was over. It wasn't done anymore.
So it didn't last long, kind of.
No, I think it was just up until then. It had a couple years going, but
yeah. Because what I remember in 7th grade and 8th grade, when they were trying to teach us HTML, like actually like how to code the website. Yeah. And even I forgot the other name, but yeah, and the tech teacher was cool, and like we would shoot videos, and they taught us how to edit, and like we would take turns to like run the room. Like somebody would, like for a month, would lead the whole projects, and it was almost the closest to what I imagine a news anchor job would be. And yeah, I even remember the room. Everybody had not a cubby. What's those office things that people use? It's like in every. No, you know how a regular office, a cubicle. It had like about 4 cubicles because the room wasn't that big, and then everything had a computer on it. And then the guy that would run the room for the month would sit on like its own office kind of, and then you would set out the projects, you would produce the news. I remember that class was really cool. I make sure that I took it because it was actually fun. But as you were saying, in high school, I they did offer the photography stuff, but for some reason I didn't end up there. I wanted to do that in high school, and I wanted to golf in high school. We had a golfing program too.
Golf.
Yeah. Now because I'm low key kind of into golf. Like I don't really talk about it, but like I like actually playing it. Like I like the art of the swing. Like I kind of like sometimes
the
like
mechanics of it.
Yeah, like sometimes during the
science part of it.
Shout out to Osvaldo.
Nerd.
Yeah.
The swing of it.
Yeah. No, I am. Then during the spring, this summer, I go to the range and I just like I even thought about like buying my own clubs, even like used ones, just to have them like the thing. But I like.
Can you rent? You can rent your own, no? Right there.
Yeah, but they're like kind of old used ones. But you can definitely rent them. I don't even think they charge you. That's how used and old they are. You just grab one. But no, yeah, I wish I would have done photography and golf. I think that would have been cool.
That's cool, man. Your school had golf.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like,
we had the most like different thing like that was tennis.
We had tennis too.
Because swimming is pretty standard, I would say.
You guys had swimming?
Yeah.
Oh, we definitely did. Yeah, that would have been cool too. See, I would have tried stuff like that because I always low-key like swimming.
It's a great exercise.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
Really,
it tires you out. No, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's harder than just.
It gets you in shape though.
It makes you work harder. Like just it's the standard. You have to work. Your body's just working double when you're in the water because it's slower, the gravity and shit. So yeah, golf was cool. I remember I found out when I was about to graduate. I'm like, we had a golf. I was looking through the yearbook and I seen pictures of people being golf. I'm like, we have a team. Excuse me. I'm like, what happened? Yeah, that was.
They
cool.
never announced this.
Yeah, I was like, where was this on the pamphlet? And for my high school, that was kind of surprising. The fact that we even had that super unique type of situation. But yeah, so yeah. But overall, you've been good, man. Like, you've been chill. Things you feel you starting the new year good.
As best as it goes.
So optimistic, Jose. You're so optimistic.
You gotta be real, too.
Shout out to Camilo.
Realism.
Another optimistic person.
Realism, my friend.
So I wanted to ask you, because I was thinking about this. Well, me and Osvaldo were kind of going back and forth off record, but do you think that aggression is becoming less? And not even if it's positive or negative. Just, you think at some point we're not even going to know how to do that? Like we'll become more docile because we're not going to have to be aggressive, or we're not going to be in kind of that level of survival. Because obviously right now to this point we're not really, unless you live a certain type of lifestyle, but that's a whole different conversation. But do you think aggression will be less for us and will become more docile, more softer as you see time go by, as far as like the next generations? Or are we always going to be aggressive to a certain degree?
I mean, it could happen in two ways, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like the apocalyptic ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like going through some sort of strategy and shit, like robot wise and stuff, and they're starting to set all the rules and stuff.
Yeah.
And from there, we would be forcefully, kind of like now, like with some sort of army.
Yeah.
We'd be forcefully docile. Nobody would ever do anything, because then punishment would be first. And literal and probably on the spot with them and all that.
Yeah, for
there
sure.
won't be no trial, and like we'll see like madness and
yeah,
insanity plea and all that stuff. Like,
insanity plea. Nah.
No sir. Like
no,
intention
sir.
was there. Intention was there.
That's funny. So do you think because when I think about it, I mean, you can kind of see it now. That's just how like the youth is a little bit. And I'm not saying there's not some tough youth out there. I'm sure there's some youth that I would think twice crossing that path with them.
Yeah.
But that's not. But the general seems like everything is softer, right? Because now your identity can be something, but you don't really have to either live it. You don't have to come from it. You could just, because you like it and you're into it, it's like a hobby, but it comes a a characteristic almost, right? Like, have you ever seen those photos in Asia of I think it happens in Japan and Vietnam? They dress like cholos.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure.
Chicano
Yeah. And I'm sure there's hoods because I know there's hoods in Japan, and there's definitely hoods in Vietnam, and bad things happen, especially in those third world. Well, Japan's not third world country, but in Vietnam, stuff like that. But the ones that I've seen, I'm like, never. I don't think you gangbang, bro. I don't think you're going on. But the clothes, the music, the way they speak, the way they walk, they're fully that. And I find that interesting. I mean, how now you could just pick up a personality trait. You don't have to develop it. I mean, I see that a lot. And when I think of where we become more docile and more kind of where we just naturally, because we are technically really soft, right? If we look at the landscape of everything, right? I mean, if you can disagree, please do. But that's what, from my humble opinion. And it seems like like the gray alien theory. I'm sure you've heard it, right? They say that the reason that the gray aliens became to be is because a certain species went underground and and their bodies got smaller and they got more intelligent. That's why their head got bigger, their eyes got bigger, and their shoulders became smaller because they didn't have to be so big or so strong or so aggressive. And quote unquote, that's what they think the great alien comes from. So kind of that same thought process, but more on the human side that we deal with. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Well, on that gray alien theory, right? Gray?
Yeah, gray.
Gray is that's kind of how like some of the cultures were from before.
They were small, right? Because I think dwarfs were actually a real thing. That's like, I don't think that's even like a conspiracy theory. I think like dwarfs and stuff were actually like, I think it's legitly we have things we know that they.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like in ancient societies and all that stuff, the environment itself, and within government and everything, it was all appropriate enough during the time where there wasn't necessarily any need for aggression, for protection and stuff like that. Like with the Aztecs, they were some like rabbits type of clan and stuff, trying to protect and all that stuff, trying to take over and all that stuff. But within themselves and all that, there wasn't necessarily much of a troublesome culture. Like there wasn't no gangs like and stuff within them. There wasn't much violence within their cities and all that stuff. So then there's this theory with that as well that because they were all within they were all within the what's it called? The Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, they were part of that.
The self-sufficiency or fulfillancy, where everybody can be themselves and be like happy and like contribute to society, where without the need of fear for safety, and then without any sort of danger around. So then everybody was functioning at their highest levels, and if everybody's functioning at their highest levels because of safety, everybody around, then a lot of things get to happen, pyramids getting built and temples and all these structures and mountain rock drilling through rock, like because everybody's in that sort of safe space. All those things like tend to happen within those societies, and then that's kind of why when the Spaniards came over and all that stuff, the kind of war things were different. The tactics were kind of the same. It was like some sort of ambush kind of deals and all that, but their armor. Right. And that indicates that at that type of the other side of the world, there wasn't much safety around. And there was all this greed and there's all this greediness and neediness, and everybody has to fend out for themselves, and I need to be stronger than the next person. So then that's why they were pushing more for evolution that way, because they were more in that it's a greedy thing and I want your stuff and I need to protect it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why they had to build up with these armor and all this weaponry. Because they had to fight against each other. And opposed to the other place where things were, growing much differently, being built differently, society was differently. It was much safer. So that's why the garments and everything, they're just
Just
simple
simple.
clothes, ropes and kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that, because
You didn't
there's
have
no
to
need
worry.
for other bigger armor.
Yeah.
Even the warrior armor wasn't such.
I think it was
such
just
like
kind
that.
of a rope too,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even when they would play that sport, sometimes they wouldn't even wear a shirt. It was just covered like around the waist,
Yeah.
right?
So
So-
then those are like sort of docile places,
Mm-hmm.
ideas that you can see within society.
Yeah.
But I think right now it would be more like a weakness, how you're saying, where you can't necessarily do too much things or say too much things because people are gonna get offended and all that stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't. And when I say soft, I don't just mean in the physical way, or like even just the general landscape, aside from just humans and how people think things. But let's go back to what you were saying. I think that was really interesting. Is that possible in the near future to develop a society? I guess a quote unquote utopia, even though as far as a utopia goes, it's not a realistic thing, right?
I mean,
Is it, or what you just
you could
described?
try it within cities.
Mhm.
There's developments for cities. I don't know, like experimental cities, I guess you could see, like
Yeah.
futuristic movies and all
Yeah.
that stuff, where the building themselves, everything inside should be
Uh-huh.
safe,
Yeah.
because everybody kind of has this fear of the higher, body outside,
Yeah.
the one that's actually in charge, the authority,
Mm-hmm.
and then that should kind of in place make everybody feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be this kind of disconnection that if we don't follow the rules here either, we're not going to get in trouble from the outside,
Right.
because it's not necessarily that there was this enforcement going on like in the time with the Aztecs. There were some slaves and stuff like that, but there wasn't this recorded with like this forcefulness for it.
Right.
Which is like that's how society was going and that's how it's living. But yeah, living in like a contained city, you could work it, but I think at some point you would just revert back to it because you would want to escape it and you'll find oppression back, and then you'll try to go against other people.
Yeah, and rebel, right? So is human nature not going to allow us to have those realities? Because I'm sure just how you described it in the Aztec culture, I'm sure there's other cultures that probably were able to pull that off for a certain time, right? Where this, like the height of the Greek civilization and Aristotle, is to like that height, or the government turned on them.
Yeah, like all of the
Yeah.
Egyptians and stuff, before there were any sort of like big serious crime like human trafficking and drug dealing and
Yeah, of
things
course.
like that.
Yeah.
Like identity theft, like
that's
before crime,
crazy.
before crime like
That
that
shit.
occurred,
You
it
get,
might,
you get your email hacked, have
Yeah.
your whole life messed up.
like maybe somebody stole your kill, or somebody stole some fruit you were trying to pick.
Yeah, or
but,
somebody just like killed your kid or something.
but it wasn't no like settlement kind of deal, like
Nah,
like
no
hey, this is my
settlement.
house now,
Yeah, and I think that's why the thought as far as the whole idea of utopia, it's not a thing, because at some point we will kind of be selfish. We will think of us first,
yeah,
and
like
we
we would all have to evolve, kind of like going down into
Let's go.
the underground,
yeah,
where some catastrophe happened and you have to go down, and that's survival. We all have to just believe and trust each other for everything.
That's
If
the
it's
only
just
option
food,
at
if
the
it's
moment.
shelter, like everybody just has to agree. Everybody will like simultaneously need to just end this envy, this greed, this this anger part, and okay, I'll whatever I got, I can hand it over to you, and vice versa.
yeah,
But I think until then, and then you go down, and then how you said at time afterwards you start evolving, and then you don't need to be so strong, because you need to. Well, maybe you do
It's
have
much
to be strong
simpler to a
just
certain
to
degree.
build and like keep
Yeah.
doing things, but for the aggression and stuff, like I said, like with the Aztecs, you wouldn't have to build your armor that much,
you don't even have to really think
'Cause they
about
wouldn't-
that
yeah,
much,
they
or
wouldn't-
spend
they-
that much.
There wouldn't
Resources.
be much confrontations, and if
Yeah.
they were, they would be settled, just
In a different manner.
actual civically,
Yeah.
they would be just talking, and they would be just like resent out, instead of actually just fighting. Then, well, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna get this weapon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In for it to actually kind of occur, it has to happen by something that leaves us with no other choice, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, and I'm sure you've heard of. I mean, we have a bunch of underground tunnels, Colorado, in the western side of things, and
cave systems,
like
little bunkers and stuff.
The Grand Canyon is filled with the complex cave system, and even Utah, that beautiful park they have out there with all the rocks, they have
the arches or what?
Yeah, and they have if you've seen the ones in the Grand Canyon, in that park they have there's a system similar to that. I think it's the Hopi people in the Grand Canyon. I might be super off, but something like that. But at some point we went underground.
Yeah.
At some point
into the mountains.
That was the only way we were going to survive.
Yeah.
And that's where things like as you were describing become smaller, and what you're used to, your physical being, is not needed no more. Slowly, kind of, you naturally get away from it physically, where you could maybe have a bigger head and smaller torso, whatever. But yeah, for those societies to exist, it almost seems it's only instances due to natural disasters.
Instantly too. Because right afterwards, everybody has to just agree to be like, okay, yep, we're gonna share stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Like we really are neighbors now.
Do you think you personally could exist in some, even if it's a short time lived? Do you think you can exist in a society of that nature?
I don't know. I think we're all, well, at least I just said for myself, like we're kind of still ingrained to have your stuff and own your stuff. Just be just on your own kind of deal, not necessarily support for everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, and it'll probably just be all your family together, but for all the community itself.
Yeah. The only way I can think of it where I could probably exist in that type of environment for a little bit is to be able to feel that safety and that comfort to really just try to reach your full potential. Just to at least have a chance to at least see it or even feel it, where you don't have to worry about these external things that sometimes steer you away from these possibilities within yourself, especially within the human. That was the only way that I'd probably kind of be enticed. But in reality, I don't think it really coexist.
I think that would be a possible time right after like the disaster. Like let's say there was a flood, there was some asteroid, there was a fucking atomic.
Keep talking, I'm trying to
this atomic stuff. And then after some parts of or percentage of the world was just decimated, then from there the percentage that's left, the ones that are made it into the caves, or they went into, I don't know, some boats, some planes, something. All of those at the end kind of just also realized this actually just happened, and we're the last ones. What do we do? Like life is just mortal. It can end now, and you see it like, wow, man, like shit, just billions just gone now, and there's animals as well gone, and land gone, and everything, and you're just like,
what you used to know has been taken in that instant. In that
like moment. At that moment, who cares about everything you had in the bank? Who cares about all the cars that you had in your house and stuff? Because now you're inside a cave, or you're on top of this flat mountain, mesa top, where your car's not there, your house not there, your bank's not there. So who cares for your millions? At that point, it would be more about your knowledge that could start, some economy sort of building,
or your general skills,
your abilities,
your general skills, just kind of basic skills, like good at carpentry, good at measuring, good at math. Measure something, we can figure out how we're gonna expand this tunnel so more of us can fit.
Yeah, build appropriate housing for everybody and water systems and stuff.
So before we get off the subject line, do you think natural disasters is part of us? It's natural to us because of the earth we belong to?
Or is it man-made?
Or is it man-made? Why not? You tell me.
Like
what do you think?
HHRP, the harps.
Hey,
Let me get different type of hat.
Come on, this. No, we can keep the same hat. This is.
You know what color this hat is?
What color?
10.
Oh, that's the Jose I've been waiting for. There we go. Jose has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the Tin Man has arrived. But Jose doesn't have a heart. So yeah, what do you think? Is it? Because obviously they're horrible things. They kill things. They change land. They take people's lives. You know, the forest fire. What was going on in Hawaii? I was having some tsunamis not too long.
Dude, you know what just happened? Craziness.
Go ahead.
You just said that too. Chile just experienced
Shout out to Chile.
some Valparaiso, Villa del Mar, I think it is.
Okay.
They just experienced some fires just like Hawaii.
Interesting.
Yeah, or like only housing developments are the ones that are burnt up and stuff. And
they're trying to avatar us.
And some houses are randomly skipped over and stuff.
They're trying to avatar us in real life, bro.
Yeah, they left more cars, which is normal now.
Yeah,
they're not melted down.
How long ago did that happen?
Like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, okay, so super recent.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
They just recently also had a convention, a world convention.
Yeah.
For about, I think, like weather or things like this. I think it was either weather, some sort of weather, or like some disaster kind of deals. So they were just hosts for that like world kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then
like the United Nations type thing.
Yeah, Okay. And they were like, they probably said, "Nah, we'll skip." And then
not
everybody
that
else,
day.
Everybody else, on the
good luck.
Everybody in the Western world said, "Nah, check this out though."
Yeah,
like I think you're gonna want to call us back.
You're gonna want to rethink that decision.
Yeah, like
you told us the other day.
We'll give you a couple days to sleep on it.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Yeah, but that one's there's definitely different topics to touch on because that's a little strange.
It's some type of smelly smell.
Yeah.
Like,
what's going on there? Is that really what it is?
Smelly smell. That's I'm smelling.
Is that really what it is? And no, yeah, and I agree with you with some things is too on the nose sometimes. Okay, it just really happened this smoothly.
Yeah.
This outline
like,
got burned.
This place where there has been never zero fires ever. Ever in the world.
Yeah, there's definitely a conversation to have to that. They would have to, like I would say tsunamis, volcanoes blowing up, even though I think sure we're not that far away.
Dude, that's another thing.
How to make
volcanoes in Iceland.
Let's go.
Like erupting and stuff.
What have you seen on that?
Well, but then like the weather machines and stuff, there's supposed to be like radars for it and all that stuff. But they disturb like the frequencies, radio waves, everything, and they change the patterns. And when they change the patterns like up top, then the frequency, the waves kind of go down, and they go into like the earth and all that stuff, and they start moving. So then earthquakes start to happen, like in Iceland, randomly. It's just like split in half.
Right.
I don't know. Like that was the first thing that happened. It just like split in half. When again, not necessarily any sort of recorded earthquakes ever before
happened
in the history of
it.
In the history, of it,
Yeah.
Kind of never is, And then just suddenly started to rip the I don't know, their land apart. I don't know if it's states or provinces or whatever, but it just started to like rip their land apart, like half, actually, like in half. And then after that, those earthquakes there. Boom. Then the volcano is active now. And then again from there, more ripping apart. And then now it's erupting. And then there's evacuation and stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, we are going to get to some point where we can manipulate nature.
It is, dude. Well, the weather, at least for now. Well, nature too. Plants and fruits, all that stuff.
I mean, we're already,
there's fruits without seeds.
I eat some grapes though.
Stuff like that. Yeah. There's cotton candy flavored grapes, dude.
That's a fact.
You know,
That's
like
a fact.
come
That's,
on, man.
That's definitely strange.
You know, so there's modification in there. In the weather, man, like there's fake clouds all the time.
So when you have those thoughts, what do you think about that? Is that a bad thing? Is that weird, or is it just more maybe they're not telling? You are through that shit. Yeah? Every time you see that little line up, I'm like,
like, how dare you, sir?
Just give it a good old 5 minute, like, just stand.
Why are you blocking my sun, huh? Huh? Like, is it so I don't see the moon in the daylight? Huh? How could that happen?
Give me working, huh?
Like, you're trying to cover something, huh? Like the truth.
So is it mainly that for you when it comes to that kind of thought process? Is it that you feel like there's a real truth that's not being told?
And lied to.
So what happens when they stop lying to us and they tell you, like, yeah, so you're right. We definitely can tell you when it's gonna snow. Like what happens after that? Because then that's when it's just like, because right now it's the intent, right? It might be the reality, maybe, right? It seems like it. Not too sure. We can't 100% confirm, right? We could believe, but what happens when they just don't care no more? Like, yeah, we do all that for sure. Do you stop caring at that moment? Because when it comes to those kind of conversations, and I always find it interesting, we're intrigued because we believe so hard that it's what we believe it is and not what they're showing us. That's kind of the intrigue, right? That's kind of like, that's why we're scratching at the door. We're like, what's going on here? Like, what's up, man? And that's why we even, do research, we watch this, watch blah, 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 right? But what happens when they just say, yep, we do that for sure. Yeah. We have flying cars too, by the way. So
we have airships.
Yeah, like we have underground ocean battleships ready to go. Like we have them. That's what we do. So what happens with that thought process? Do we stop obsessing? Do we stop looking for the truth? Or is the truth, regardless in what aspect or perspective you're trying to see it, just the truth? Is the truth always have to be hidden from the general public somehow? Because it almost seems that just how we look up at the stars, we always kind of want to look for the truth, just as a human thing almost.
Uh-huh.
But what do you think after they just say, yep, we do that, we have that, yep, you're right, Jose? So what kind of happens after that? If they just, I don't think it will happen. I mean, it happens slowly for sure, because there's unclassified things now that we know, facts. But what happens when they stop hiding the quote unquote truth from?
I think at first there will still be about a very high percentage, around 80, maybe 90% of people that would be still like, okay, but they're doing it for a good reason. Then just leave it alone, just whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they're hiding all this stuff. They're spraying the chemicals and stuff to, to modify weather and stuff like that. And so people would still be like, well, if the government's doing it, then it has to be just a good thing. It's just just leave it alone. Yeah. Just like pay no mind.
Yeah.
So I think they'll just do that just so you can, obviously even more intentfully just not pay no mind.
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you like, okay, yeah, we're doing this, so just it's government things you don't have to worry about, and then that's it. You also just leave it to them because it's government. So that beginning part would be that, and the other percentage, the one that had believed it from before and had like looked up into it, I think they would just continue to keep going, and then
it wouldn't be enough almost. That's kind
of because then if that was one thing, well then that means that the next one is also true, which are like other conspiracy theories that they all get proven afterwards, so they're not necessarily conspiracies. And so if this one happened to be true, well then the next one's going to be as well, because the full evidence is going on the same way, and then the next one. So it would be more like an ongoing scavenger hunt, forever for everything.
Yeah.
Because after you clear one, then you go into the next one. but that would just be for them, you know. It would be that fan
It'd
base.
be more of a game at that point, like a real kind of
Yeah, and it'll
live
be like
game.
that specialized fan base, you know, because
Yeah.
it wouldn't be just like following just like all super randomly out of nowhere now.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, it would still be people that, oh, if they talked about it, well then that's, you know, we should leave it to them because that's them. They know about it. The military has it, and that's it.
So, is it natural for us to want to seek the truth, or have we been programmed to seek the truth so they can continue to hide? Because it almost feels that it's natural for humans to seek the truth. Kind of what got us this far, right? Technically, on a large scale. Or are we programmed to seek the truth so they can continue to hide? What do you think? Is seeking the truth just how we express anger, we express love, frustration, those basic human emotions? Or is it a programming thing that we think we're supposed to function like this, so they continue to do that? But for me, not really, because I don't know, just speaking for myself and the way I am, the truth has a different kind of feeling. It has almost like a different frequency. Like cause something physiological within, you know, just, you know, when you do breath work,
Yeah.
and it works, calm or focused,
Yeah.
and, you know, it just kind of brings you, it's that same feeling when you know, when you can truly determine that's the truth of whatever subject matter or conversation or perspective, whatever the case may be. You can feel it in you, right? So that almost seems that we are meant to want to seek the truth and really understand things beyond ourselves to a certain degree. You know what I mean? So what do you think? Is it natural for us to seek the truth? As is it natural for us just to look up at the stars at night?
I think there's both as well. That natural curiosity part always, you know, that sort of wandering and learning type
Yeah.
of deal, and that's how you keep growing, keep learning, keep evolving, you know. I think that natural part of humans would be just for sure always keep going at some point. It might be kind of repressed and hidden at times, but eventually it'll always find its way. In the programming type, I think that would be just because it's like that fault in there,
Yeah.
where we're you know told and we're you know pounded and grounded into that you have to believe this and follow this, and this is how everybody should act.
Yeah.
Where then as well it's a bit of curiosity, and you just kind of question it at some point, you know, as to why am I being forced to kind of follow it, and why did everybody just agree that this is the right way to do it, and why did everybody agree that this is the wrong way, and why everybody. So I think in that sort of programming, I said it's that following, but that curiosity as well into it, you know, where it's gonna be as well always looked into. It'll be looked at differently. It might not necessarily be looked at for some sort of like answer, rather you know, some resolution or something.
Yeah.
But it'll be just for some like some start point.
Okay.
Where did this come from? Who started this, and why did they pick it this way, and who said it was going to be the wrong way and stuff. So I think that that curiosity there.
I think there's definitely those two perspectives that you said so well, where we are kind of made to be curious, because even when we're infants, that's how we learn, right? You're curious. You gotta go figure out
you're
that sharp
around,
corner of the table and really figure out what that
is. That
sharp corner
that mad and then that mad
Back
science, the mad scientist experiment,
okay.
or that insanity sort of definition, where you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. You know, and that's what thing like little kids do. You pick something up and then drop it. Pick it up and drop it. And like, is he gonna do something different? You know. You don't know at that point, so
you don't know. So
if
you
keep going
for it because you think there's endless possibilities, almost, right? Or hoping for them.
Because technically, with all that stuff as well, there's there is a reality in the world where it does respond. It does become different. It where it bounces, and instead of bouncing to the left, it bounces straight up, and it actually does something else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's experiment.
Yeah. 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 I always think about that because, as I described, it is a feeling within ourselves or a frequency or energy where when you can, in, and you know, and of course, you can have different discussion of what the truth is and all these other interpersonal ways of viewing that. But when you kind of feel it, is how you know. Kind of, it's just a feeling, right? You know, another thing that I've been thinking about, and I've been like seeing it come across like different articles and just different perspectives. Do you think we're going towards an economy where we don't have to own anything anymore? Where ownership is not a thing?
Yeah, and that's horrible. You don't want none of that stuff, dude.
Please,
well, I mean, let us know. We're already into that. Like, we don't necessarily own
the subscriptions.
We don't necessarily own.
We don't
anything.
know music anymore. We own streaming services. Because before you would buy the record and you would own that piece of music. You could take that music with you anywhere. You own that piece of music. But now we don't know. Most of us, we stream music.
That's true.
We don't even own, like,
there's no more CDs.
Yeah.
Best Buy had to have no CDs anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they still have vinyls, and that's the thing too. And I think that's why things are happening again. But even the subscriptions, right? Well, I think there's like a subscription where you can share watches, or you like trade in. You never own them. You have them for a certain amount of time, or even like clothes, but you have to give them back, or even, you know, there's different weird, like, even when you want to buy software nowadays, especially when you want to make music, for example. So the main software, and there's a lot of different softwares as far as production, but the main one, the industry standard, is called Pro Tools. And Pro Tools, before, you would just pay a one-time price, and obviously, you know, maybe in 3 or 5 years.
Oh, I hate that, dude. They moved to a subscription.
Now either you pay $50 a month, but you never get ownership of the software in reality.
Yeah. And
I mean, I get it, because for that, I mean, it's a better business plan for them for sure. That's obviously why they're doing it. They want they want you to keep giving them money, and at the end you end up giving way more even of what the actual value of the software is, right? Mm-hmm. But from the consumer standpoint, you get updates. It never runs out, technically. Because before,
you're always connected to it.
Yeah, before you would buy the CD, and in 3 years or 4 years, you would have to buy a new one and spend another $500 just on that same software, right? And Photoshop is kind of, because Photoshop, I mean, what we use, I pay a subscription. I don't own. There's no ownership of that. It's just in the cloud at this point, right?
Yeah. So
we're slowly starting there. We don't own our music. Software's going, everything. I mean, even I think just by what Uber and Lyft does, you know, it's kind of telling people you don't need to drive anymore.
Your car, that's true.
You don't really need a car.
You can rent a car.
Yeah, because I think that's the business model why those things work. But even like the big thing now, like, people don't want to own homes. It's weird. Like they're trying to push this idea that renting is better, and I gotta do more thinking to see. But as far as where I stand, I think ownership is still kind of the way to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you want to own everything, but
I mean, but they're pushing that idea where no, don't own a home. No, don't own a car anymore.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean.
Because they're nefarious agenda. But dude, like I was telling you with like the video games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of video games are going online versions now, you know, and you have to be subscribed to them. And if not, then you're not playing them no more. Yeah. So if you don't have the disc, then tough luck, you know, because at some point those servers are going to end.
Yeah.
And you can't load up that game anymore because they didn't want it to. And that's it.
And
you know, or from there, you have to buy another subscription and then play from with them. And then there, at a couple of years, it's going to be gone from them. So then you have to buy a different provider subscription and then play it, you know. So like straight from the games there, like you don't have the physical copies of them no more. Then that's pretty much, you're not gonna have a game maybe in a decade. They're not gonna give it any attention.
But is that the nature of the beast in the way where, since we want everything live and like in the moment, the internet kind of opens for that. Because before those games,
Yeah.
you're not playing real time. You're playing real time within the game and whatever part you're in and how far you decide to go on or pass it. But is it that because everything kind of has to be live? I mean, we're literally live right now, right?
Yeah.
This is not a pre-recorded video, right? So does that open up? Is that the nature of the beast? Why the business model has to be that way? Why we don't own music really? We stream it. We don't own it. I mean, you could definitely still buy it on iTunes and pay your $10.99 and still have it in your laptop or whatever forever. But you could definitely still do that. And please go buy artists' music. Please go support. But you know, especially Captain Sila. But it's just strange. I get it. I don't like the narrative of let's not own a home. I don't like that. Car, I'm willing to, you know, I guess, because cars
for tax reasons.
Yeah, depreciating shit. But this whole idea that we shouldn't own things, I don't like that. That almost seems very un-American. Not to sound like that, but that almost seems very un-American.
Yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to do
to get your space?
Yeah,
well, like what are
you trying to do?
Because I've been seeing into that with like the World Economic Forum and all of those guys.
Yeah.
And some of the smart cities that they're planning, it's kind of like that super long city that was planned in Saudi Arabia, where everything's
in Singapore too, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and if you have a smart city where then everything is confined to within, you know, walking distance, you know, which would be acceptable, I guess. But let's say walking distance is only 15 blocks by 15 blocks or so, and everything's around there. That's cool, like your groceries, your gas, you know, everything else. There'd be some parks and gyms and offices, everything. Like everything is there, like cool walking distance. But once we're stuck in those places, that's where like the docile stuff can potentially start to work in.
Good callback.
Because there's the block of the city is there, but then the rest of the government's like, yep, you have to live in this city. And if you wander off of that place, you're like, no, you can't. And then that's like the futuristic stuff for like, oh, let me see your badge to see if you can wander off this far, or like, oh, why you can't walk?
You have access.
You can't cross this line. You have to go back over here, and you know, then you're like militarized, and you know, there's settlers, or there's an occupation kind of going on.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just like, if everything is within walking distance and within reach, then there's no need for vehicles. There's no need for travel. And if you don't have a car, well, then you can visit other places over here, because from this smart city, the next one's going to be hundreds of miles out there. Where within a car, it was 30 minutes, because you could go fucking 60, 80, 90 miles per hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, and you have one city here, and the next city is 300 miles. Like, from here to Grand Junction, dude, imagine you trying to walk that. You know,
you're not doing that.
You would try to wait until the most optimal time, which would be summer.
Yep,
you know,
yep.
And even through there, it'll be harsh because the cold is different. There's animals.
More animals would be in
you know,
open.
the elevation and all that stuff. So, you know, from there, that, you know, in car it takes you 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Now, how long is it gonna take you walking? And that's if you make it out, and then that's if you make it past the military zone, and then try to break into the other military zone, because you're not allowed to travel. And then you're not allowed to travel, then you're not allowed to see the earth, you're not to see a lot of the world. And then that's where like the higher ups or the elites, they have planes. They're not going to follow those rules.
Yeah,
and then they're the ones that are like, oh, yep, you know what? That's why I have 100 fucking acres at this place. And that's why I bought 1,000 acres at this place. And, you know, like that's
Mr.
why
Gates.
Yeah, Zuckerberg, dude, he bought like 2,000 in Hawaii and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Gates has a bunch of farmland here in Colorado,
Utah, Wyoming.
You know, so, and then now they have those places, and then they have the means of actual travel, like a car, because the roads are still going to be there, you know, and airplanes, you know, all that stuff. They're going to have access to that, so they could travel places. They could go see the world and actually see what's going on, and then we'll just get fed TV stuff. They're already recorded stuff. You know, they own the media, so
not live, right? At some point, if you're a certain socioeconomic, you don't even get to watch lives. You don't get to see real life. No. You get to see the pre-recorded version.
Yeah, it's what they want to tell you. It's what they want to show you, and you know,
to the original format of the medium of what media is, as far as news and TV, because that was the point of media, as as that
Yeah.
control. Keep people's temperature up or down type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So say no to smart cities everywhere, all around.
Message brought to you by Jose Gonzalez. It doesn't reflect of this podcast. No, but I'm joking, but I do agree on that, because it doesn't sound right, man. That part doesn't sound right, and I think that's a good perspective that you just got to explain, because it almost seems like they're pushing for that.
They are, dude. That's why all these random fires are happening. These earthquakes happening. The volcanoes are erupting everywhere.
Yeah.
There's hail that's bowling ball size.
That's crazy.
Maybe not that big, but
baseball size.
Big size, like softballs, like craziness, dude. Like it broke the car roofs and stuff like that.
That's true. I do remember that little. I mean, even when we got some weird hail out of nowhere. Remember those times? I don't know if it's 3-4 years ago. 2018, 2017, I think. Mm-hmm. We got these weird hailstorms. Like, okay.
Yeah. But even now, we don't really own anything either. If you have a car, you could go to a dealership or buy it from whoever secondhand, and you pay that off, and you supposedly pay it, and then you supposedly get your title and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be yours. Mm-hmm. But to be able to use it and to be able to have it on the roads and all that stuff, you need to go register it, dude.
You need insurance.
And then you need that. There's like the government type itself, where it's you need to go register it. You need to have plates for it. If not, then you can't drive it. And if it's not registered, well, then whose is it?
That's a really good point.
Whose is it? It's the states, dude. It's the governments now. And if you don't have the plates, well, then it's going to get impounded. And if you don't go after a certain amount of days, now it's the government's again, But you bought it. You paid all for it. You have the paper, the deed that says this is mine.
Definitely. You work.
But the government's like, no, sir, that's mine. That's still mine.
Yeah, because...
And then homes, dude, the same way.
Go ahead.
Home, land, property, all that stuff. You pay it off, your 100,000s, or your, thousands, however much you got it, millions if it goes into it. Mm-hmm. So... you pay that off as well, but then they say you got to pay property taxes, and then you got to pay other taxes,
and you got to follow the rules,
and then you got to pay
suburban rules,
this county shit, and then you got to pay the homeowners.
You got to go get a permit,
and then you got to do this, and if you wanna have a roof in here, you got to go pay for this shit, and if you want to have some water that's here, you got to pay for it.
I didn't think about that.
So they do that, and then you paid it all off, but if a year goes by, maybe 2 years goes by, and you didn't pay your property tax dues. Yeah. Because even after you pay your home and all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you don't get no more bills afterwards. No, the water still comes, electric, and all that stuff.
Internet, everything.
And then once a year or however it goes, you're gonna get that property one. Yeah. And if you don't pay that, well, then after a couple of times, Uncle Sam's gonna come in with his repo truck. And this is my land actually.
That's true.
It was always my land. You were just like holding on to it.
You were leasing it, basically.
Yeah, you were holding on to it. Even though you have the paperwork that says you bought it and it's your rights for it. Yeah. No, it's not. It's still us.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. In a way, we don't really own anything.
So no,
because nothing.
It's this really illusion of it. You can enjoy it. Try to make it your own, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's
everybody got their hands in it.
Yeah.
Even if it's yours. Like you said, with the plates, insurance,
and then modifying weather and laser rays and fires and stuff. They make your city, they make your open land just unusable, unlivable, and then you have to move.
Yeah, underground. Yeah, we become docile
people. With you go, heads. You live underground and you try to survive there, or you move into their smart cities where you're like constantly monitored all the time. Yeah. There's cameras everywhere and checkpoints everywhere,
and this. Yeah. Futuristic dystopia of just you can't ever see the stars again. Everything is polluted
and then from there's safety because nobody wants to do anything because there's a camera there, there's a camera there, there's a camera there.
I mean, that's already happening. And people that still commit crimes, like, bruh.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like
you carried your phone into the situation. You're done.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like this different type
like
of
high
deal.
level, like China. Where they know when you jaywalk and they take off a literal
they take money away right away. They charge you right away.
Or if you littered, They take
and that's
take
crazy.
it away.
And then the same
China's already doing that.
The social credit score system.
Yeah.
And then
that's
the same camera sees you give money to a homeless person. Boom, you got like 2 points back. You know, like
crazy. It becomes a video game.
They saw you just like smoke and like you drop the bud.
Yeah.
Like, damn. That's just like, boom, 3 points. Damn.
Yeah.
Homeless person, boom. +4. Like, good.
At that point,
I'm up. You know, like damn, dude. Like
At that point, you're like just Mario looking for the golden coins every time.
Yeah, you know, you're basically just gonna be, you know, living out to do something. I mean, there'll be some goodness, I guess, because everybody will want to do something that's nice, but it's gonna be all forced and stuff, and
it'd be fake, ungenuine, right? It creates this weird personality within people where you even know you're human anymore.
Yeah.
Why are you giving this homeless? You know, and I mean that's a whole other conversation. But you really care? Do you really have high hopes? Is that why you're doing it? Did it pull out your heartstrings when you see them begging, or whatever? Or are you doing it because they're watching and you need that high score because you know you're somebody, right?
Yeah, I mean, or you just want to do something like you want to leave the state for 2 days. You better
sounds like probation to me.
You know, you better do
get a permit.
You better do all this community service, sir.
You want to leave the state for a week, huh?
Yeah, like what you mean? You're gonna go see your dying relative out of state? Well, sir, you gotta give me 50 hours.
Yeah. What have you done today? Have you cleaned the park? I don't know. You walk. Yeah. And then it just gets weird.
Yeah, and then you're just controlled.
Yeah. But when we think about that environment that is China, do they really need that high level of control? Aside from the government being with the weird government, like Chinese people are pretty cool, what I seen. Right? I'm sure they have their bias like any of us do, culturally and stuff, not natural human stuff. Because I think about what China is and their government, the way things are over there. You really need that much control, or is it control because it's a chess move, so America knows and the rest of the world kind of knows? Because I don't know, Chinese people, of what I observed, just when you watch videos, they don't. That's why they don't even really care that they have to be implemented into such a control system. Like they're like, okay. Or is it just deep decades of programming to make you think this is? Because they just seem cool. Like I don't see. Like when did you think?
Some of them, dude, they do a lot of demonstrations and stuff, like rallies and all that stuff. They'd be burning cameras with just lasers, pointing lasers at them and all that stuff.
So there is some rebelness in there, maybe that I haven't observed.
Yeah, dude, because that's crazy. Like, you know, they're gonna take away money from you because you jaywalked.
That's crazy.
You know, like
you were late to work. That's why you just went.
You're an adult. You look right. You look left. There's nobody around. You know, nobody around. Nobody, dude. Not even a dog in sight. You know, not even a tumbleweed passed by. Nothing, dude. You know, like you could have fallen and, you know, been fine. But you jaywalked, boom, penalty. Yeah, penalty money. Like, dude, like, fuck, you know.
All right, so we don't leave out of here super late. So let's finish with this. What's one thing that you imagine or you believe is true or is something that exists that you actually wholeheartedly wish it is the truth for you, from your personal perspective? And it can be anything. But what's something from your perspective wholeheartedly that you wanted to? What is it? Is there anything for you? Like, for example, well, give me one or give me two. But for me, I really and honestly want to be able to transfer consciousness. I want that. Like I need.
How?
Either I'm tired of this body and I find some other random body, or even a non-biological body. Transfer my consciousness. That's a source. Truly want that to be a truth, and I truly believe it is. I mean, the science, we're slowly getting there, and I do believe it in my heart that it's part of what we do, why we're going to learn how to do that, where we understand consciousness. The second thing, I want to be able to, just how we grow a plant or how now we're printing organs. 3D stuff. I want to be able to grow a soul. Like, I want that to be true, because if we get to that point, I mean, what else are we researching for? Because we can grow what we are, or our essence, that, or that spark that we are. Because imagine, like in the little fake plant on top of Buddha, we're just growing some random souls, and then we get to choose. Just, how in the movies when they get to purgatory, either you get to choose if you get to go on or not, or whatever, next life, and then we get to that point where, oh, this person, that'd be cool. I those two things, I even if I don't get to experience them, I need them to be written down somewhere in our history in the near future, that we did that we were capable of doing, right? Because consciousness and soul, and maybe there's a argument if maybe they're one and the same, or they're two different things, but that's a different conversation. But that's kind of, we hit walls, right? That's where we're stuck. That's where all of our questions come from, basically, technically. But those are the two things that I wholeheartedly wish. I wish they are true.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a way. Not necessarily like fully within like the soul stuff and all that,
yeah,
but for now you can make things like that, because there's video games, and you can make societies in them. You can make people, and you can give them all the attributes, to be aggressive and to be this and to be that and everything. So you can basically pick and choose him, like, okay, this person's gonna be this, and this, and then like you see how it plays out in that sort of environment, But then.
And that's a very kind of,
and that's you in a way
example.
Creating it,
and
so
creating the reality.
You would be forming them, not necessarily, out of like clay and mud and all that stuff. How like other history stories are, that people made them and everything. But you made it in code wise, and you made a person and stuff, and you're giving it that part, So you could work it that way there.
No. And for that same simple example that you give, that is 100% true, and we've been doing this since The Sims existed. You've been making your own soccer player on FIFA. You've been your 2K. You've made your own Madden character. It's why I think that's true. Because if we have this simple version of it, now we're getting into VR, AR. Apple just dropped whatever they drop, and things are getting really interesting. That's why I think it's true, where we get to the point where either we can materialize consciousness, or even go a little further and materialize the soul.
But that goes into like the Matrix kind of deals, that the Sims are living in a simulation, and then but they have their own world, and then they're conscious of it because they have the attributes for it, and then they themselves, they have computers and work, and then they have video games too. And then one of the jobs is going to be computer science too, and then they in the game make another game, and they give them the same attributes and stuff, and then it keeps going and going and going and going.
And maybe we're just one of those realities.
We're one of those Sims
in the Rolodex of the reality perspective. So that's mine. What's one thing that you wholeheartedly wish that it does? It is the truth, and it materializes for me.
One thing that I would like to materialize and then have actual proof and like see and all that stuff, it would have to be with like biblical stories, and then one of them more importantly, the Enoch ones. To see him and all that stuff, and like his story and all that stuff, and then how he made it into one of the angels, and then how he's Metatron and all that stuff, and then from there that goes back into math and science and stuff. It's like his symbol, like that, those sigils and stuff. Dude, it's one of like the most fucking complex ones with a whole bunch of vertices and stuff like that. So,
like, I think it's the highest version of sacred geometry.
Yeah. So then it goes into back into that, but like having that full proof that like this happened, because at this moment it's taken away, from the biblical stories.
Yeah,
it's the apocryphalia and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like all this external that.
Even though Enoch does come up in another one of the stories, I don't know. I think it's the Old Testament, but they just mention him briefly. But they do mention him in.
But I think it was.
They don't mention his specific.
I think it was a different person though.
Really?
Like another like grandchild or something.
Of the original Enoch?
Because I think there was like two of them. One of them that like walked and stuff. And then the other one, I think it's a name, or maybe it's a similar name that I'm thinking.
You think that Adapa?
Or I got the no.
You know who Adapa is? Have you heard of that one? So they're claiming that's Adam.
Dapa.
Yeah. The original.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying that's the original Adam. But okay, so you would want that the Enoch biblical stories that we know about who you want them to be true, because I mean it will.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of evidence and truth out there and all that. And
No,
proof and stuff.
I'm fully with the Enoch stuff. I'm fully
stuff.
with the Enoch stuff. There's a reason why the church said, nah, not this one.
Yeah,
we're gonna leave this one out.
Shit, like damn.
They're like, whoa, what did he do?
They're like, damn, like what did I take this morning? Like what did I just read?
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm with you. So what's another one what's another thing you would want it to be?
I think, well, going to the other part, one of the things I would want to do, it would be like with the consciousness part, but I would want to have this, like this knowledge and like this feeling that I had experienced other stuff, like within reincarnation and all that stuff, but be able to kind of like go into consciousness and experience the other places, so be able to kind of like
activate those other lives.
Yeah, like if you can,
memories,
like transcend within them and all that stuff, or
in and out of them,
kind of travel within them, because it's your parts basically. And
you have it in you,
and you're able to do it.
Yeah.
So like work that, because then if you have that consciousness level, you're basically like, in tune with everything, and then about everything, and then everything's universe and geometry and everything's in line, and you're set, dude.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was asking about. Are we designed? It's natural for us to seek truth, or is it programmed in us because it's always hidden? And that goes back to like even what we're saying right now about these possibilities, because we kind of me personally, I won't speak for you, but the reason why I'm kind of obsessed with even like Enoch stories and soul stories and stuff like that, like it seems to be a thing at some point.
Yeah,
right.
It's like too vivid to kind of be just made up and stuff. Like it's too accurate,
and even if
there's too much realities.
And I'm not religious myself or care about the typical religion, but even that story they say about the snake is knowledge in that story, and taking that apple. That's why quote unquote God looked down upon him and separated. Or it was her, Eve, right? Excuse me. But technically, if you really break down that story, Snake was trying to give you some knowledge.
And
I was trying to tell you this is more than what you think it is. But right away,
find that truth that
and right away
you're put on that path already. For instance, then
and right away it was deemed in that storyline that no, that's why Eve is bad. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So. So it almost does feel that the truth has always been hidden, on purpose, and that's why it seems natural, but at some point in our existence, we probably did have access for a small period of time for whatever reason, right? But then it was taken, or we were forced to forget it somehow, because it's there. There's a reason why people
are blocked from it.
Yeah, like for some reason we think it's not there because we were
fluoride.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me personally,
calcified pineal glands.
Yeah. Look at you. No, exactly. All right, Jose, we good?
Yeah, I mean, up to you, depending.
Oh, okay, no, it was up to you.
Yeah.
Anything else on your mind before we get out of here that you want to touch on?
Nah, I think we're good right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the people that were with us. We appreciate y'all. And whoever's going to watch that, like and share, subscribe to the channel, and go run them streams up of Gatzinsila Never Give Up. If you're an EDM fan, you want to listen to some original tracks, Gatzinsila on all streaming platforms, go subscribe, please. Go show him some love. And on that note, this has been another episode of the Higher Thought Cast. Peace.